Good morning everyone, this is Ashley from Raising Sunshine. Today I am outside in our cut flower garden. This is our first year of cut flower gardens that we're going to be selling at market, and about 8 weeks ago, well no, 6 weeks ago, about 8 weeks from our last frost day, I planted out our snapdragons, and the first round of them died. So it's kind of a learning experience with me. I'm trying to do the cool flower season stuff, but the first round didn't work. The second round is doing amazing. Here we have our first round of snapdragons. As you can see, nothing really survived. There's 1 and 2. Nothing else really. Now our second planting is doing really well. I haven't pinched these, but these have been out for about 3 weeks and they're looking great. And then on the next row over, we have snapdragons that were planted out last weekend that I did pinch. And honestly, those are taller than the ones over here that were not pinched. So it's kind of a fun learning thing. But anyways, so since these have failed, the snapdragon crop, the first one that we planted out 8 weeks, we have a luscious bed of anenamies that I'm going to put here. So I thought I'd bring you along. I've never grown anenamies before. About 2 weeks ago, I soaked them, I put them in some dirt, and I let them sprout. And as you can see, they grew amazing roots. For the longest time, they didn't put anything on top, no foliage. But within the last week, they started. But the roots look amazing. So we're going to go ahead and pop those in the ground. I have already amended the soil when I put in the snapdragons. So since they really didn't use any of the nutrients, I'm not going to put more in. But I do use Biotone starter for our beds. So I'm just going to go ahead and start plugging these in, and we'll get back soon. So since the soil is pretty loose already, I'm just going to pop them in. And I did see that you need to plant them roughly every 4 to 6 inches from each other. But each one of these squares is 3 inches, so I'm just going to pop 1 in each square and see how it goes. Like I said, it's a learning experience for me. I've never planted these before, so if they do well, then I know that 3 inch spacing is good for me. If I feel like I need to change it up, I will next year. And so some of these don't have any foliage on them. I do see some sprouts coming out, but the roots are amazing, so I'm still putting them in the ground. So now I have all the anemones planted out. Today is April 1st, and now I'm going to go ahead and give them a good watering. These guys have never been outside, they've never seen sunlight, so I will go ahead and throw the road cover on top of them once I'm done watering them, so that way they don't get scolded by the sun. And then I'll probably let them see light in probably like 3 days, just so I know that they are well established. In the next 10-day forecast, we don't have any hard freezes. So I think it'll be really good for them to be outside instead of inside. Now in this raised bed in front of that row that we just planted, I do have some bells of Ireland planted. Like here's a couple coming up. Here's one. They're very sporadic. I honestly didn't think anything would come up. They did. There's a few. But where there isn't anything coming up, I do have a couple of the anemones left that don't really have much leaf cover on them. I do have like one. But I'm going to go ahead and plop those in here in the spaces. We do have some tulips coming up. I did plant some stuff in this row, but nothing's coming up yet. Those are black-eyed Susans. I honestly don't think anything's going to come up here, so I'll probably just plant here. And these are some irises, but I'm pretty sure those are dead. I'm going to leave them in for a little bit longer to see. So now that I have the anemones covered, I thought I'd go through our beds and just say what's roughly here. So where the anemones are, I did have our first succession planting of snapdragons that I planted out 8 weeks before my last frost, and they all kind of died. We have like 1 or 2 that are still in there. So I just went ahead and placed the anemones in there. Then after the anemones, we have our second succession of snapdragons that are not pinched. I wanted to see the difference between pinching and not pinching. So these were planted out 6 weeks before our last frost, which was about 3 weeks ago. Then after the snapdragons, we have 10 feet of ranunculus that I have started and sprouted inside. They were planted out about 3 weeks ago. They're looking pretty nice as well. They're getting some really nice green growth on them. Some of them didn't have any growth, so they're coming out of the ground now. Some of them unfortunately got a little bit damaged, but their other leaves are still coming in looking green. So they're doing really well. It's rained here quite a bit, and it actually snowed. So I'm going to go ahead and water them in, just give them a little bit of a water. Our soil is still kind of wet. I'm just give them a little drink. But they're looking really good. Like I said, some damage, but not too bad. Last night we got down to 27 degrees, but that's our last big frost. Supposedly, we never know. I also got these ranunculus from Lowe's. They're doing really nice. They haven't really given me any big stems, but I love them. They're really pretty. I get to come out here and look at them. So these are more anemones. No, they're not. They're ranunculus. More ranunculus that I have planted, the small ones. There's 10 feet of those also. Then we have our second succession of snapdragons. Now these were pinched. I'll show you some of them. Like this one was pinched. Oh, this looks to be growing well. This one was pinched. Maybe that other one wasn't. This one was pinched, and you can see that it's got branches coming off of it. That one doesn't look like it was pinched. Huh, I thought I had pinched all these. Well, yeah, there's branching coming out of the bottom. Sorry, you couldn't see that. That one was pinched. More branching. That one was pinched. So they're doing really well. Down here, at the same time that I put these in, I think it was about a week ago, I also put in some of our black-eyed Susans, and they are doing amazing. I know they are cold tolerant, and mine in my landscape are already growing. But even with that hard frost last night, didn't affect them at all. They were covered though. I did put some Dara outside last night, so they did go through the hard snap, and it didn't seem to affect them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them planted out here. I know it's not a lot. I have more seeds going, but I just wanted to see what they would do. So that's really about it for our April 1st garden tour. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I hope to do more. Thank you.